Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Across enterprises and MSSPs alike, analysts are challenged by the scale and speed with which today's threats are outgrowing traditional workflows. What we're exploring in this conversation is how AI helps teams reclaim control by turning their existing expertise, processes, and tools into something that can scale. We'll talk about how deterministic decision models capture the judgment of your best analysts, and how agentic workflows accelerate investigations without sacrificing trust. Nice to meet you, Denis.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, so tell me, how did you get your start in cybersecurity?
First of all, I'm an AI engineer for Arcanna, and I got my start in cybersecurity through Arcanna.
Oh, great. So tell me, how do you apply AI at Arcanna? What do you do there?
Well, I mostly focus on building the interface that can let the user create agentic workflows.
Ah, great. And I know a lot of people are familiar with agentic workflows. They've become much more popular in the last couple of years. But for those who may not be aware, can you tell me a little bit about them?
An agentic workflow is a team of AI agents that work together to solve a complex task. So what is an AI agent? Basically, behind this AI agent sits an LLM that has an instruction to solve a specific task.
Gotcha. And why are agentic workflows valuable to Arcanna?
The most value that they bring is time saved. Let's think of it this way. You have a SOC team. Mm-hmm. Inside the SOC team, there are a couple of analysts. Each analyst has to look through hundreds, maybe thousands of alerts each day to investigate them. And that's a complex process, like pulling data, pulling logs from Elasticsearch, from Splunk, sending emails, filing reports. And that takes a lot of time, maybe 40 minutes for an experienced analyst. And what the agentic workflow does is converting those steps into AI agents that can work autonomously and save a lot of time. I'm talking here about maybe 2 or 3 minutes for a run instead of 30, 40 minutes. So that's the value for me.
Huge
time saved.
So Denis, where are agentic workflows typically deployed in the Arcanna platform?
Typically, they are deployed right after the decision layer, and that is the investigation layer. Okay. After our decision models triage alerts, those alerts go into the investigation layer where the agentic workflows rule.
Okay, well, so let's take a step back. So tell me, what is the investigation layer?
The investigation layer is the place where an analyst spends most of the time. Like he has to go through hundreds, thousands of those alerts, and he has to pull logs from different SIEMs like Elasticsearch, Splunk, 40CM. He has to send emails, he has to file reports, he has to check threat intelligence sources, and that takes a lot of time. It's a complex process. That is the investigation layer.
Ah, okay. And let's take a step back. What is the investigation layer in Arcanna?
So the investigation layer comes right after the decision layer. So our decision models triage some alerts, and then we can step into the investigation layer where agentic workflow can do their job automatically.
Got it. Okay. What tasks are they typically accomplishing in the investigation layer? How do the individual agents break down typically to create an agentic workflow?
The user has the freedom to create these agents. They can do whatever they need. Basically, you can convert those steps that the analyst does manually into AI agents. Like what I've said before, you can pull logs from Elasticsearch. There you can have an agent pulling logs from Elasticsearch and interpret the data. You can have an agent to come up with a summary of the findings in the investigation. So the user has the freedom to create these workflows. And we also provide some predefined workflows.
So Denis, tell me, what are some popular predefined workflows?
We offer to our clients, for example, a detection rule onboarding. We offer an automated threat hunting workflow, and we also provide some generic investigation flows.
I see. Okay. So how do these workflows typically gather evidence, run queries, and perform investigative steps autonomously?
I think it's better if I show you directly a structure of the generic investigation workflow.
Great. Let's take a look.
We start with an alert, right? The alert that the analyst has to deal with. He wants to do an investigation on it. That's the input of our workflow.
Okay.
So once we trigger the workflow, the IOC extractor agent starts working. He will extract some IPs, some file hashes, and he will provide that information to the next agent. It's a chain of agents. So the next one is the threat intel agent, which uses threat intelligence sources to check if the IP, for example, is malicious or not. Next up, we have the log analysis agent, which does correlations on the alert. He wants to look into Splunk to see if there are other alerts related to the one we are investigating. Next up can be the user and endpoint agent. We want to find information about the user, to see its role, to see what permissions he has on the machine, and we can wrap it up with the report agent, which does the file report of the whole findings.
So each of these agents are querying different tools. Are these tools things that people can build natively, or are they pre-built tools?
I think I should start with what a tool is.
Sure.
A tool is basically a function in any programming language, code that can run on machines. So let's take, for example, a Python function. You have a Python function to get an alert from Elasticsearch. You give the description of the function to the AI agent, and the AI agent will decide if he should invoke that tool or not. He then tells us that we should call the tool. We execute the tool, running it programmatically, and we offer the result back to the AI agent for interpretation. Now, there are two kinds of tools. You can build your own tools inside the platform in Arcanna, or you can use some predefined tools that you can find in MCP servers.
Tell me more about MCP servers. How is Arcanna able to take advantage of them?
Right, so MCP comes from Model Context Protocol.
Right.
It's a protocol that each service that wants to offer tools to the public has to follow. It's like, for example, Elasticsearch has an MCP server which encapsulates tools that allows agents to interact with Elasticsearch.
Got it. Yeah, so thanks for walking us through that agentic workflow. So taking a step back at building an individual agent, what are some of the challenging aspects of building one for customers?
The hardest part is to come up with the structure of the agents. You need to identify what task each agent has to solve. And that comes with experience, and that comes through many iterations of trial and error. Like, imagine you come up with you want to solve a complex task, right? You need to break it into multiple tasks, multiple simpler tasks, and create an agent for each of the tasks for it to solve. And you have to give it the right tools, and you have to iterate through it over and over and see the output of the workflow until you're satisfied. If you're not satisfied, you go back, you add one more agent, you break one agent into two agents because maybe that simpler task was actually too complex for the agent to solve alone. So you break it into two, and then you run it again. You see the output of the workflow, and if you're satisfied, you can go and test it for a production environment. Those results you have to be satisfied multiple times.
I see.
Because the AI agent will not output the same result 2 times in a row.
Yeah, so you're really looking for consistency in the output of the agent
Exactly.
flow. I see. And that this is a relatively simple question, but is that why you're deploying multiple agents instead of just one agent?
It depends on the task I want to solve. It would be best, it would be the most happy path if my problem would be solved by one agent. But with experience, people notice that LLMs tend to struggle when they are given a too complicated problem. They cannot solve it accurately every time. So you have to break it into multiple steps, multiple agents.
And coming back to making sure that there's consistency in the output, how does Arcanna ensure these agents are in control of the user defining them?
First of all, you are in control because you are the one creating them. You are creating the beast.
Yeah.
So once you create the beast, you may notice that it does not do what you want. It goes sideways. So you can just stop it, go back, go edit the beast, and run it again until you are satisfied. Now we have other ways to control these workflows. We call it human-in-the-loop agent. We provide this agent for you, for the user, to insert it at some points in the workflow so that the workflow can stop and ask for guidance. Like, for example, an agent queries a SIEM for logs, and he identifies a threat. If I have a human-in-the-loop agent after that agent, we can stop the workflow and the agent will ask for guidance. What do I do from here? And we can say, continue, do that, or we can stop.
So a human in the loop, provides consistency throughout the agentic workflow. How does Arcanna's investigation layer prevent hallucinations during things like evidence summarization and report drafting?
Well, the hallucinations in LLMs is a well-known problem. And you can't fully stop them from hallucinating, but you can minimize the risk of hallucination. And you do that by carefully choosing your words in the prompt, in the instructions you give to the agent. You can provide tools that offers him real data to keep him grounded in the reality.
All right, so I'm going to turn now to talking a little bit about GenAI assistants. They're different than agentic workflows. I understand that Arcanna also uses these GenAI assistants in the investigation layer. So how do they help analysts during investigations?
Imagine the analysts need some pair to do the investigation. He can just pop right in the assistant chat and start an investigation from scratch. He doesn't have to go through multiple SIEMs. He doesn't have to send emails or file that report himself. He can just go into the assistant. He has one window and he can do all the investigation right there.
Got it.
So what would help him? What would be nice to do after that investigation? It would be to identify the steps he did and ask the assistant to create a workflow so that he can replicate the investigation he did automatically in the future.
I see. So the GenAI assistant actually helps to create agentic workflows for the analyst.
Exactly.
So in the case of that, what guardrails ensure that Arcanna's GenAI outputs remain trustworthy and verifiable?
So for the verifiability part, we have something called structured outputs for agents. AI agents, if you normally would output their words in free natural language, which is unpredictable. But with structured outputs, you can enforce the agent to format the output in, let's say, a JSON, where you have fields, where you have predefined fields. You know what to look for. You can verify it. You can see if it hallucinated the field, or if a field is missing. Now, for the trustworthy part, we can have our Arcanna's decision models decide if the output of the agents is trustworthy or not. And how would we get that decision model? We need to have some mature enough decision models that will get mature through many, many feedbacks of the output of the agents. And eventually you'd have these models that can tell you if the output of the agents is trustworthy or not.
So Denis, what guardrails ensure that Arcanna's GenAI outputs remain trustworthy?
Well, in the decision layer, we had decision models that triage alerts, right?
Yeah.
After that, we have the investigation layer where agentic workflows run. Now, we are not sure if we can trust the output of the agents, right?
Yeah, and that's why you have a human in the loop.
Exactly.
To make sure that
We try to make sure in many ways that the output is trustworthy. Now, what we can do after this investigation layer, we can add another decision layer. And this decision layer would look at the output of the agents. This decision layer decides if the output of the agent is trustworthy or not.
I see. So the decision models can actually be applied to the investigation layer and the agentic workflows.
Exactly.
Wow. That's really, really interesting and a really great combination. So one other question around the investigation layer, how does it ensure traceability?
Well, traceability comes from the fact that we show everything that the workflow does. Every action that the agent takes, we show it to the user. We have these called sessions that each session represent a run of a workflow. And there you can see every action that the agent did. Every tool call, every output. So that's the traceability on our side.
So this is an application of GenAI that basically ensures trustworthiness and traceability.
Yes.
It's impressive. So just kind of in closing, looking forward, what are you most excited about when it comes to agentic workflows?
Well, I'm excited in the creativity part because you can be as creative as you want with your structure of the agents. You can solve, I think, any problem if you think long enough on it. And also, for the creativity part, there are not two people that will come with the same structure of the agents. And that's exciting because we have to keep the creativity part is on the human side.
Yeah.
And I'm also excited to keep improving our platform to make the user experience on building the agentic workflows easier and faster.
So on that final note, have you seen customers really be creative in the way they're building agentic workflows? And could you maybe share an example of one?
Sure, we have clients that we work with. They work together with us to come up with the best solution of a workflow. Mm-hmm. Like two creative minds can build something great. So we have, for example, brute force analysis workflows. We have the ones that I presented to you earlier for different kind of SIEMs, like 40CMs, logarithm, Elasticsearch, Splunk, and many, many others.
Yeah, it really is truly up to the individual user to decide what sort of agentic workflow they want to use.
Yes.
Great. Well, with that, Denis, I want to thank you for taking the time. And thank you.
Thank you very much as well.
Thanks for joining us today. For MSSPs, operational scale is everything. You're expected to deliver high-quality detection and response across dozens or hundreds of customer environments, each with different data availability, different baselines, and different expectations. Arcanna helps MSSPs meet these demands without adding headcount, compromising quality, or sacrificing SLAs. Its decision models provide reproducible, customer-specific decisions at massive scale, while agentic workflows accelerate investigations across diverse toolsets and log sources. The result is a force multiplier for your analysts, faster triage, consistent outcomes, and the ability to onboard new customers without operational strain. With Arcanna, MSSPs can expand their service capacity, maintain quality, and stay ahead of evolving threats using the expertise they already have.